What's up, all you party goers, and welcome to another episode of Party Bonus, a sketch comedy podcast with a tinge of horror, where three indie writers and artists pause from their morbid mindsets to fling comedy shit at the wall and see what sticks. My name is Zach.
And I'm devsolovey.
I'm Schwannis.
And it's time to party up.
Indeed.
What's up, guys?
Hi.
Hello, gents.
How's the guys?
I
What's
feel like
going
it's
on?
been so long.
This has been a minute or two.
It's a new day and a new world that we're living in.
October was so busy with stuff and things.
October, it was real.
Yeah.
It was a real whirlwind.
Busy month indeed.
Whirlwind of
I've got some great party bonuses for this week.
Tell me about your party bonuses.
I got two. One, I bought a heated blanket, and it's the greatest purchase I've ever made in my entire life.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
My dogs love it. I love it. It's great. Buy one if you're listening. Just do it right now. Pause the podcast, go buy one, come back.
This is not a paid sponsorship.
Two, this one isn't so much a party bonus for me as it is just the earth for once rolled a nat 20 because fucking The Onion bought Alex Jones. They bought InfoWars. I'm so glad they did. I've been celebrating. Exactly, yeah. I've been celebrating for like 2 fucking days. It's awesome. As your conspiracy guy on this podcast, like there's a reason I am that guy. It's because I care about misinformation, and like this guy's gone. He's fucking done for, and I'm so glad.
He's dedicated his life to the world of misinformation and conspiracies, and now he has finally toppled one of his greatest adversaries, Alex Jones, paving the way for you to take over.
I wish I worked at The Onion, but I could do that job pretty well.
Especially now that they own InfoWars.
Yeah. Oh, I'd have a lot of fun with that. Just have my Alex Jones moment, like they fucking nailed a beer can to my wall. It's the government trying to take my rights away. You gotta put cameras inside it.
That's why it's there to hide the giant HD camera filming your every move.
Exactly. The candid camera episodes.
And watching us all through TikTok.
They're putting alligator sperm in the water and turn the kids gay.
More.
Disgusting.
How about you, Sean? What's your party bonus?
My party bonus this week is disassociation, because I think correct context was given to what time frame we're recording this in, and without it, I don't know if I could. I don't know if I could go on. I don't know if my heart could go on.
That's why we do this podcast.
I'll give you a real one, a real party bonus. The real party bonus I witnessed this last week at a bar where somebody was apparently partying very hard right before we got there, to the point where we walked in and he just yelled at me a bunch. A bunch of epithets that were not cool, and he passed out. His pants were already off when we walked in. We were welcomed by him screaming pantsless at us, and then after that he fell on the ground and they tried to drag him out the door, and his pants got caught on the front doorstep. Because I don't know if you know this, but dragging passed out bodies with pants off is pretty hard. The pants catch on everything. They catch on everything.
Oh,
and they celebrated him by dumping a Gatorade cooler full of ice onto his crotch. And I feel like that's a sports thing that people do, like a celebratory sports thing where you just dump a Gatorade cooler of water.
Important detail that I must know. If they were pouring ice on his crotch, did he still have underwear on, or was there bee piss?
No,
One of those is way worse than the other. I feel
no,
like.
full frontal. Like this person's pants were down around their ankles.
So there was
And
beepers.
There was. I sent Zach a photo so he can attest.
Yes, I can
There
attest
is
to this.
full frontal nudity to this entire. It was in a bar that's traditionally. This doesn't exist anymore, thankfully, because it doesn't need to on this planet. It's been a gay bar for forever, and traditionally, culturally. So for him to be doing that in that spot was kind of wildly ironic, but it was a drag queen and a trans person throwing the ice on him. It was just a visual that was hilarious.
That's great. I love that.
That was my party bonus. That is, I guess, that is a template for us all in partying.
It's a beautiful party bonus. A very beautiful party bonus.
Again, divine justice.
Divine justice all around. And you know what? And I guess in going along with that theme, divine justice, I guess my party bonus this week is internet porn. And you're probably wondering why. And it's not because I just came back from beating my meat. It's actually because internet porn, I think, deserves a real recognition this week after North Korea has entered the Russian-Ukrainian recently. But in doing so has actually discovered the internet, getting access to the internet, and within said internet finding internet porn. And now many of the soldiers in the ranks have come down with a small case of porn addiction. So kudos to internet porn for, I guess, disarming the whole North Korean army.
Yeah.
Fighting the good fight, I
Shout out.
think humanity deserves to give an official thank you to the porn industry. And that's what I'm saying.
Achieving peace through post-nut clarity.
Yes. Exactly.
I just want to
Shout out to porn for being a real one.
That's what I'm saying.
We should address that. I had a burning need to watch. I hope that Logan Paul. This is not controversial, but on the internet, if Logan Paul dies tonight, I will have a party.
You mean Jake Paul?
You mean Jake Paul?
Oh, it's the same thing, right? Are they different
You're right. It
people?
is. Oh my
Whatever.
God.
Who cares?
Conspiracy.
I'm actually really glad I made that honest mistake because fuck them.
Yeah.
I needed to put this on in the background when we did this so I can watch Jake Paul die via Mike Tyson's fists. I hope they're still hungry.
That's right.
It's
Hungry for
probably
that
going to
meat.
be censored out, but we'll react to it if serious things start happening. When the punching goes down,
Yes.
I'm going to be so like, I don't watch sports. I have no interest in boxing whatsoever. I just really want to see Jake Paul get hurt a lot.
Yes. We're hoping to ride this wave of divine justice through the next 24 hours for the sake of Mike Tyson and just see how things go that way. So here's to divine justice.
Yeah.
Coming from Party Bonus.
Shout out to Divine Justice for being a real one.
I'm putting a lot on you, Divine Justice, so don't fuck me on this, man. Okay? I'm not a believer, so I'm putting you on the spot.
Yeah. Prove to me that there is a God. Let Mike Tyson win this fight.
Yeah, exactly. Prove to me there is a higher power, and let Mike Tyson win this fight.
I'm willing to let that be my toxic trait tonight, to root for Mike Tyson. I'm traditionally not a good... He's a better person now, but...
As distinctly remembering the fight with Evander Holyfield, he bit off his ear, I am tonight rooting for Mike Tyson to beat the ever-living shit out of A. Paul.
Yeah, I hope it resembles any scene from Terrifier, any of them.
For the feds
clown on his ass.
For the feds who are currently monitoring what we're saying, that was a joke. We're not actually, legal reasons, lawyer and all.
No, I can have hope that happens. I'm not perpetrating it. Under a clear and legal line. I've made no threat to anybody, but I would love to watch that.
Oh God. That's really what it is. It's just a night for nostalgia. Mike Tyson back in the ring at like what 60 years old.
Back at the biting.
Back at the biting.
God, that picture of Jake Paul looks so fucking stupid. They got on the screen.
It looks like someone just clipped his penis with one of those clip bags for your bag of chips. I put a clip on my penis, Dad. It hurts.
He looks like the worst guy in the mosh pit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. He's that guy that's like literally just punching everyone as he walks by in the mosh pit.
That's the spiritual head of the push pit right there.
Yeah, that's the guy. That's the guy I saw with the booty shorts at the one mosh pit. Did I tell you guys the booty shorts story?
Oh, I don't think so.
I find that refreshing, but something tells me the story is not gonna pan out like this.
It's so I guess if we want to go with like scene kid 2000s nostalgia, I was at an Asking Alexandria concert with my partner at the time, and like 11 bands showed up. It was crazy, and they were all like big bands. And one of the ones that opened for them was Atreyu, and I happened to like Atreyu.
Oh, I remember Atreyu.
Yeah. And so I wanted to jump in the pit. I look over, and there's this guy who's wearing nothing but red booty shorts. And he's just, like bright red booty shorts. And he's in there like throwing fists and like hardcore dance. Like he's clearly going to hurt somebody, right? And I'm just like, I don't know if I want to be in the pit while that guy is in there. I'll wait until he gets worn out. Never got worn out. No, he was just there for like the whole set, just punching around and whatever. But like again, I like Atreyu. They played a song that I liked. I wanted to jump in the pit. I'm like, all right, I'll jump in for a bit and I'll avoid the guy. So I did. I shoved some people. As I'm leaving, he turns to me and I get a better look at him, and I see that he's like this really buff, like Asian guy, and he's got like a rage boner too, and it's like a little pokey in his booty shorts.
He's really enjoying the pit.
Yeah, and he looks me dead in the eyes and he like beckons for me. And you see
in his pants, the little wiener just goes like this, like it's just trying to like wink at you or like
head.
No.
This way, bro.
No, he was in the pit he was in the pit for the entire night, and he had a friend who came in later who had blue booty shorts, and so they're like the booty shorts guys.
The booty shorts team.
Yeah, there was this one point where blue booty shorts, who was slightly bigger, picked up red booty shorts, and then red booty shorts started kicking in the air. And I'm like, you guys are gonna hurt somebody.
They should have had on should have had on t-shirts that said, "Don't spin kick me or I'll come."
So that's the kind of merchandise I want to be selling as a band anymore. Like, and this is probably my own problem with not being able to take myself serious. But like, I think the key to anyone's heart is if you're putting out merchandise like that. Just like, I came in this pit and I have the evidence or something.
No, I got
the floor is caked in cum. Thanks.
Crowd walking to like climax.
Thanks, Queens of the Stone Age or something. Fucking yeah. I came all over the place and all I got was this shitty t-shirt. And not a callback.
I shit my pants at a fucking Amon Amarth concert, and all I got was this t-shirt and these shit stains on my pants.
And a heavy load.
I got to keep the pants.
Amon Amarth would be a funny show to share yourself at. I went to an Atreyu show once, and it was right after. I liked Atreyu for 2 albums maybe, and the one where they started wearing like vampire makeup. I went with somebody that when they, I guess it was surprising to us. I got to remember how the internet worked then, because you didn't get to see as much stuff on the internet before you had to go and see it in person. And Atreyu came out in makeup, and it was like skeleton face paint makeup, or like circles around their eyes. It was like kind of like,
just have like a black metal phase or something.
It was like Bad Misfits makeup.
Yeah. It was weird.
Okay.
And I can't remember. Oh, somebody I knew was yelling at them about. They were just making. They were calling them other bands that wore makeup. And it was not a full show because they were not super popular yet for that scene. And they were like, the singer was getting mad. You could just see that he was getting mad. And he took a water bottle, a full one, like a laser beam, and he threw it off the stage, and he just hit that person in the head like directly. It was the best shot I've ever seen in my whole life. So kudos to them.
Shout out to the vocalist for a trade.
And he could probably play Japanese baseball or something as a pitcher. I don't know.
Fucking underhands it. And it's, that's what singers these days just really need to start doing. Because you always, I don't know if you've heard or not, or seen, but I feel like it's been so common lately that singers getting pelted with like bottles of water lately, which I find funny because stunt. Right, which I find funny because it's like, well, that's always happened at every other show that we've seen since we were kids and stuff, and it's just like there was a time when the fucking artists were doing it right back. And owned that ground and like, yeah, you want to play that game? Let's fucking do it. I'm on high ground, bitch.
They still do it in Tucson. The crowds here are notorious for getting pretty rowdy.
I mean, you're not gonna stop it. No. Let's face it, you're not.
Who would? But like it there's like it's kind of playful because they'll also like every once in a while, a water bottle will get thrown at a band, but sometimes they'll pass a joint up to the band, and that's kind of nice. Yeah. So like it's all
the band might pass something back. You never know.
Yeah.
I saw a band once that was a female vocalist, and they you put floods at the front of the stage so you can see the crowd when you turn them on. It was locust season, or one of those weird ass bugs that come in like super big droves. They turned on a floodlight. Cicadas? Maybe it was cicadas. I don't know, some kind of gross ass like bug.
15, 16 years.
I don't, whatever it was, that they turned on the floods and like a whole bunch of bugs just went like towards the stage.
Shit.
And she ran off. She ran off screaming. It was amazing. It was on like
okay, but also relatable. That shit's terrifying.
Yeah, I'd fucking run too. I don't know, zero blame there.
Every right to do so. I would not knock her for
hilarious,
that.
And that it was relatable. I would have run fucking screaming. If there's one bug in my room, I would run screaming.
Well, because I always think of those fat locusts, like the big 3-inch ones we get from Mexico or whatever.
Big old
or like
fat
they have
locusts.
in the Midwest. Yeah, those ones are woof. Yikes.
No, thank you.
Do not want.
It's funny, and I think kind of go along with the whole nostalgia thing. And something I saw within this last week that was just kind of funny, but just made me think of it. There was a news story, I think, of a bunch of monkeys that got out of a zoo or whatever, and I think in one of the Carolinas. I gotta look up what the story was. I don't know if you guys heard about this.
I have not, but I'm interested because monkeys are notoriously troublemakers.
So
everywhere.
Yeah, I guess, and I had to look up the article again because I couldn't remember, but like basically what happened in South Carolina, there was some 43 monkeys being held in a research facility that ended up breaking loose and getting out.
Oh God.
Yeah, which I guess is still ongoing. It was only earlier this week, but it made me think of when I was living in Columbus like 13 years ago. There was this wild story of he was a local private zoo owner that owned just a slew of exotic animals in Zanesville, Ohio, which is, Sean is familiar with this place, is like the bumfuck neighborhood of Ohio. Very small town, middle of nowhere. Had this animal preserve out in like southeastern Ohio, and the guy ended up killing himself. But before doing so, released all the animals.
Oh God.
Blew his head off, and unleashed all of these fucking exotic animals into rural Ohio. And so I mean, he had lions, tigers, bears, giraffes, a couple other animals that I can't remember.
Surprisingly prepared for something like this to happen.
Right? Well, it's funny because I was, it's not funny. It was actually really terrible because they had to order the authorities to kill all the animals because there was nothing else that they could do.
Well, yeah, because like
capture the animals.
Listen, if you've ever been to Zanesville, Ohio, it is one. The highlight of Zanesville, Ohio, was Sonic in the middle of their one red light town. And
yes,
I'm sorry, I'm not going to be nice right now because this week is just full of
not niceness.
I don't feel I owe it to anybody to be polite anymore. And Zanesville is a very red area. If you've ever been to Zanesville, you would know exactly why you would do something like own a zoo full of exotic animals or choose to end your life, because Zanesville is an awful place.
Yeah, I just want to think
it's just not an exciting place to be.
How quickly would you, if you woke up in the morning and you looked outside in your backyard and there was a real, actual Siberian tiger there? How quickly would you shit your pants?
Right? But also, how quickly would you be like, maybe I'm not going to kill myself today?
Well, you don't understand because what probably a lot of people understand is that the people in Zanesville, Ohio were more excited than horrified, at least according to the interviews. They were out there in trucks ready to shoot themselves an exotic animal.
I was going to say, you realize there were probably a ton of rednecks who were ready to go out on their own next.
Oh, yeah.
See, my first assumption
I am writing a short story about this, and it is going to be called Redneck Safari, so you can bet your ass it'll be out soon.
That's an incredible title. I can't wait to read it.
Redneck Safari.
Redneck Safari. That's really good.
This will be a direct influence.
I love that.
Yeah, I saw that, and it made me think of that, which I had totally forgotten about. It happened 13 years ago in 2011, I want to say, but it was just fucking so wild. And I had to,
you just
that for this episode.
You just unlocked a memory of that scene in The Hangover. they go in the bathroom.
There's a tiger in there.
Yeah. Speaking of Mike Tyson.
But, right, exactly. There was a legitimate fear for just a moment, where it was like, are we actually going to get mauled by a tiger? Because, I mean, Columbus is less than an hour away from Ohio, from Zanesville, I think.
Right.
Roughly. So there was definitely the potential of and it was some 60 animals. It wasn't just a dozen. He had some 30 fucking lions, maybe a dozen tigers, leopard. I don't think the leopards got out or the cheetahs got out. There were a few that didn't get out, but
they were like, I'll dig
the
this.
bad ones did. The vicious motherfuckers did.
Well, they needed something to eat, right?
Yeah. Good old tasty human.
I think we are long overdue for a RAD LIB session. Would you agree?
Yeah, boy. I would agree.
So our prompt today came from a discussion about furbies, which I looked on the Wikipedia page and read one of the most insane paragraphs I've ever read on Wikipedia in my life, which is that the Furbies that were when they were initially released were thought to be a national security concern. They were banned from the premises of the NSA because they, honest to God, thought that you could bring a Furby into the NSA and then have it like record conversations and use it for espionage, which literally you could not with the technology that they had. So they were just afraid of Furbies for nothing.
I genuinely remember, at least in certain shades, because I remember when they came out and there was like a security concern with these things of just being able to like record whatever you were saying and shit like that. And so it was like a very, you want to talk about conspiracies back in the fucking pre 9/11 day.
It is a cute
Furbies listening in onto your conversations. That was the be all end all of fucking conspiracy back then.
Did you think you would ever see the day when AI was literally on everything, listening to everything at all times?
To you all the time. Yeah. Nobody batted an eye when that happened.
Exactly.
But Furbies were a big problem.
Yeah.
So Furbies.
That's a very cute concern for any government to have.
I wish we could go back to the days when that was our biggest problem.
I was going to say they wish they had that as a concern. Like they investigate fucking Furbies now.
It really is like kind of an egotistical thought anymore to me for anybody to be concerned that like there's so much. Could you imagine if somebody was trying to listen to any amount of things you could listen to?
Are the Paul brothers coming out on a truck?
Well,
on a sports car?
This is actually worth pausing and examining.
What the fuck?
Oh, Christ.
Oh, this is so cringe.
Let me get my big one.
God.
I need
if we could talk about everything that is wrong with the modern day, we're actually witnessing it in live action.
Yeah, because that ridiculous vehicle was paid for with the Paul brothers crypto scams that they've been running on their followers, like, and insider trading apparently, because that's something that Mr. Beast recently got outed for, and the Jake Paul brothers were involved. So
is that the one that I said that he was in the beside him? The other Paul?
Yeah.
I can't whatever is fuck them.
His name's Break Paul.
Are they aliens in human skin suits? Discuss.
No, they're way too boring.
They suck
way
too
boring
much.
and awful to be that. They are Midwest Ohio pieces of shit.
Mm-hmm.
I think perhaps it's not so much that they're aliens in human skin suits, but rather apparitions created by the darker part of human nature. You know what I mean?
It's like how
like just something sick in the human soul that is manifested into two white boys.
Charlie oh my god, I can't remember his name. Black Mirror. The creator of Black Mirror. It's just like a Black Mirror, a dark reflection of yourself. White America.
Speaking of America, Furbies are a threat to us, and we gotta address it. What's the story? What's our story?
Do you think, like, the thought I was on before, literally the thing that I was talking about is happening right in front of us? What an egotistical thought to think, like, if you could have anybody attempting to listen to all of the sources of audio, information, video, from all of the devices that are capable of doing it at this point. Imagine the insane ego it takes to think that anybody would be interested in watching you masturbate on your phone. Like, that's literally probably what it's full of at all times. Alexas, echoes everywhere, transmitting people jerking off, drilling off, doing your respective genitalia dance, or just
catch me nonstop jerking off 24/7 just to piss off the feds who have to watch me. Just to make it really obnoxious for them.
They would realize that nobody cares.
And maybe that's kind of the starting point to this story for the Furbies and the NSA. Like, there's like an NSA backroom of like lowly NSA workers that have to like spend every day just surveilling phone footage, and it's just dudes jerking off all day long. And then eventually at some point, like, because Furbies are still around, right? They're still a thing.
Yeah.
Okay, so we
they
can
connect to
a
like
modern day.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah. So now the NSA is like, listen, Trump's back in power. We gotta kick it up a notch. We gotta kick up our surveillance notch here. You remember those Furbies?
Nobody expects the Furby.
Nobody expects the Furbies. They're like,
well, there's two directions we could go with this. It's either the NSA is using the Furbies, or the Furbies are the threat to the NSA. Like, what direction do we want to go with?
Okay, so maybe it should be the threat to the NSA. Like, it's a threat that they were like, okay, it's not a threat so much anymore. So they're like, we don't need to worry about it.
What about
maybe it's like an inside job. Like maybe it's some like disgruntled NSA, like Edward Snowden 2 comes into work and he's just like, this fucking sucks. I'm gonna do something about it. Edward Snowden 1 didn't completely dismantle it, so it's my job now, and I'm gonna bring in my daughter's Furby.
That's a start. That's a start. Did you have an idea, Sean?
What about if the Furbies are their own race of surveillance bots from and then halfway through after the meeting with the goddess, Teddy Ruxpins are the opposing AI.
It's a war of Furbies. Okay. The NSA employs Furbies now as a way to surveil. Because they're like...
Well, I mean, what if we just go like full Eldritch on it? Like, what if the Furbies are some kind of invading species, an invading force, and
they've come to life?
Yes.
If we do that, I'm going to insist that their queen be the long Furby. Because I love long Furbies.
Furby Pope. Did you seen Furby Pope?
Listener, if you haven't seen long Furbies, look them up. You'll either love them or think they're the creepiest shit on the planet.
They're fucking terrifying.
I like them because they're terrifying. But
I just want to address right now that Mike Tyson's just walking out by himself. If he destroys this person,
like a straight G. The fight's actually already started. I don't know why it's still showing this. I'm actually watching the fight on my...
Huh.
But anyway, I'm actually... I have to post this picture of the fucking Furby Pope into that channel. I have no mic. Because it's absolutely ridiculous. So these Furbies...
Oh, yeah.
They use
this is great.
No. So they use the Furbies as a way. They're like, okay, they use some sort of like AI nanotechnology inside these Furbies to track citizens, suspects. So there's like terrorists all around the world who are getting these random presents of Furbies, and they're like, what the fuck is this? But really, they're just NSA weapons of surveillance.
Okay, wait. No, you're totally onto something. I proposition.
Take it away.
All of that, but because they've got an AI nanochip in them, the AI becomes sentient, right? And so the Furbies can think and they have emotions now, and some of them try to resist and they fight back.
Sean,
ready for this? Like small soldiers.
Yeah, but they have the moral turn. Is when let's get something real life. The moral turn for some of the Furbies is when they have to omit the audio that I forget where this happened at. It was in a country where U.S. agents were posted for something, but they were swearing that audio or like some kind of wave was being directed at them that would make them very ill by like a foreign government. I can't remember where that was happening. It was like a very it was like a common link for American agents posted places like they were being plagued by this illness that was like they claimed was it was either a sound that was like a not audible one to humans that was being directed at them, or like a wave, some kind of wave being directed at them that would make them very ill. The furbies are used to emit that same wave or audio.
Yeah, it was like some sort of like microwave kind of thing
To a more extreme degree, like a more instant torture to a person. That some of them go, I can't do this. How did Furbies talk? I can't remember. I can't do this anymore. I can't do this anymore.
I can't do this anymore.
You can't keep treating people like this.
Yeah, we get like one good like Julian Assange Furby in there, leaking all the audio that's been recorded. I think
Edward Snowfurb.
I think if we're gonna, we have the concept, and it's pretty high concept, but I think if we're gonna build a plot out of this, it might be good to bring in an item and see what we can do with it. How do you guys feel about that?
I'm all right with that. I'm all right. I'm up for a challenge here.
We do also need to build a cast at some point. Since we're streaming the Mike Tyson fight, I'm not going to stream the picker wheel. I'll just tell you what it says. No fucking way.
Did do it again?
50 kilos of coke.
No. God damn.
We got lucky. Well, what are these Furbies going to do with all this coke, man?
Okay.
What if it gives them humanity?
What if it's the coke that gives them sentience? That snaps them out of their programming, and they wake up out of the matrix.
Like it does something to their circuitry, and then they become sentient, and that's kind of how they figured out.
So okay, so an NSA sting. I don't know if the NSA would do a fucking sting, but we're gonna say they did. The NSA does a sting and busts, in association with the drug, the DEA, and they bust this drug sting, and they get the 50 kilos of cocaine. And they're like, "Great job, Edward Snowfurb," because Edward Snowfurb, director and choreographed everything. He's like, "Yeah, we took them all down with my Furbies, my surveillance Furbies," because he created the surveillance Furbies. Fuck that guy. And
let's take it. I think we could take it one step further and say that Edward Snowfurb is a Furby, and we could have this be like one of those narratives about soldiers who are like, morally opposed to what they're doing. So he's working for the DEA on the Furby task force.
Is he a man who believes himself to be a Furby, or is he like
he's just a Furby? No, he's just a regular
like
Furby.
K scenario.
He is. Yeah, but he's got a name. They give him all names, right? But he's Edward Snowfurb. He's a Furby, and all the Furbies bust this drug ring because they go in and they record the information the NSA is able to give to the DEA, and so, Edward Snowfurb gets honors for this, right? Or some amount of honors, whatever they'll give to a robot. And from there, we could have him kind of go into this, like, maybe the cocaine is what gives them sentience. I like that. Let's stick with it. And so, some sort of crisis of faith that it causes in the DEA, because if cocaine can give him sentience, then how can it be a bad thing?
How could cocaine be bad?
A real existential dilemma. Is that how we got sentience? Ancient cocaine? But anyways, so yeah, they make the bust, and they're all like, "Great job, Mr. Snowfurb," and he's like, "Thank you very much." And then they put away the 50 pounds of cocaine into the evidence room along with their surveillance Furbies, and something accidentally happens, and a Furby falls into a bag of cocaine, rips it open.
It's Edward Snowfurb, right? He falls into the cocaine, right?
Well, I was just thinking one of the AIs that are stuffed, because like the way I'm thinking of this is that Mr. Snowfurb, Edward Snowfurb, is like the only sentient Furby out of them all who has full control of the others,
Right.
He's
Okay.
like the leader, the queen bee of Furbies.
He's a long Furby then.
He's the long Furby. He's
the longest Furby.
Oh.
The longest
Maybe
Furby.
he's
yeah,
the
and
Furby
he stands
Pope.
on his hind legs, and he's just this tall mass walking
Like
around. Like,
hulking. That's why he's
creepy.
man-sized. He's just
Yeah,
very
that's
long.
why he's man-sized. He's fucking long. Anyway, so he's like the only acceptable Furby that's allowed to walk around with humanity. Like,
Right.
you're fine, and the others are all stashed away. One of them gets stashed away in like the evidence room with the cocaine. Accidentally falls inside the cocaine, gets a little on his lips. All of a sudden, it awakes, and it's alive, and fucking, it's like, holy shit, that's some good shit. Starts rubbing it on his teeth, and then he's like, I gotta get my other guys into this, and then just like I don't know. He just goes and takes a bunch of cocaine to all of his other
Hey, I gotta get my
little
Furby
Furby
guys
friends.
into this.
And it's just like coked out Furbies everywhere in the evidence room. And meanwhile, the NSA people are a party of their own because they just made a huge bust, and it looks like, Nakatomi Plaza and Die all fucking celebrating, doing their own coke.
All right. Yeah, I dig it, man. I dig it.
So all of a
Like-
sudden, we got fucking living Furbies coked out, running around the NSA.
Right. And they don't like the fact that they had previously been relegated to non-sentience and were not given consent in the matter, right? And
find
so
out
they
the
want to
government
take
knows
down
what cocaine would have done to them. It would have given them the gift of actual life, and it withheld it from them. It had their own work against them when they could have been enlightened.
Exactly.
Rising up
So they-
over their overlord.
yeah, taking the overlords down from the inside,
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
When's the time for the wheel? Is it time for the wheel again yet?
It might be, yeah. It might help us move along.
Let's think about it. So they get loose and they decide to rise up. And so one of the dudes in the NSA, the real Weasley guy that no one really likes, he's getting too drunk. He's like, I'm gonna go take a piss. And he goes walking by the evidence room and like hears a crash, and then he like opens it up and just sees coked out Furbies just like tearing the evidence room apart, and he's like, what the fuck is going on? And then that's when they have their first kill.
First kill, hell yeah. Speaking of first kill, I gotta pause real quick to talk about this fight because Jake Paul looks really afraid.
I'm so ready. Oh,
yeah,
running
he's backing around. Yeah, Mike Tyson is like chasing him around the ring. It's
He's trying to wear him out,
pretty
I think,
pathetic.
but he's not biting. I know nothing about boxing, so I'm just...
No, he did it's funny because I've been watching a little bit of it, and they're just talking so much shit on Mike Tyson that it's just like, all right, dude, yeah, of course his age is showing. He's fucking 59 years old, fighting a dude half of his age.
Right.
But he's still rocking him.
Okay, he's almost
and he's
16
still
years old.
like, look, Jake Paul just keeps running away from him every time he swings. Like he's scared. He just
It's the only way he'll beat him is if he stays a whole fucking 2 arms lengths away from him.
He looks for real afraid. Regardless of how this turns out, I'm just glad he looks afraid.
Yeah, 100%.
So is Jake Paul a villain in this story? Discuss.
No, but he ends up dying in this because it makes me feel better at night.
Just like
he shows up in one scene when like the Furbies are going crazy, and he just walks in and he's like, "Hey, what's going on?" Immediately gets fucking decapitated.
he knows one of the dudes in the. Hey man, we just busted this whole coke ring. You need some coke? I'm gonna send you. Come pick up some coke. He's like, yeah, I'm gonna go pick up some coke because I'm fucking Jake Paul. And he goes, and out of nowhere,
he probably loves coke.
Yeah. Paul brothers love coke. I'm going to start that rumor right now. This fight,
I guarantee you it's not a rumor.
Right now. Jake Paul's on so much coke right now against Mike Tyson. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, look at all that cocaine on his lips and nose and face.
And so, yeah.
Anything.
That's why his hair is so blonde.
That's why it stays so blonde. It fucking so the first death kind of again opens the floodgates, both literally and figuratively.
Right, because they get a taste for blood.
Yeah, and the blood, it makes them just ravenous. Okay, and now they're on their full-fledged killing spree, like Gremlin 2 style, and everyone's finally catching on. Like, what the fuck is, like, the power gets cut somehow, and like emergency lights come on, and they're like, oh fuck, because of whatever AI technology is inside of them, they're able to crazy technology shit and like shut down their computer systems and
so they're like taking over
communications. Yeah, so they're like skynetting from the inside out and fucking just the NSA.
So they're trying to like take over the world. Like they're gonna tear it all down. They've got that AI sort of let's conquer humanity because of their mistakes or whatever. And the only hope is the link between the two, which is Edward Snowfurb.
That's
because he's the link between humanity and the furbies.
And now here's the problem. After all the people start dying at first, they all turn to Edward Snowfurb and they're like, motherfucker, this is you, isn't it? This is your play.
Yeah.
You're controlling these motherfuckers and trying to take over the NSA and the whole world. And he's like, I don't know what you're talking about. And just goobering around the fucking NSA because it's a queen Furby. And I think that point is where I'm going to need another object.
All right. Yeah. Let me go run the picker wheel real quick. Interesting. Some rusty shears.
What is it?
Rusty shears was one of the items that you had submitted for the list.
Okay. Rusty shears.
That could make for a pretty gnarly death, I'm not gonna lie.
I think that's where it's trying to take us.
Yeah.
Who's president of the United States in this future Furby scenario?
Thank you. I was just about to say, I don't want it to just be regular death of a bunch of nobody NSA people. We need to get some like big name deaths here. Like considering the circumstances.
We need like a visibility that's like in Demolition Man when Sylvester Stallone's like, Arnold Schwarzenegger was president.
Yeah. I don't know if bringing current politics into it is going to be like the best play.
That's what I was like.
Care to think about them.
Maybe it's like
find a terrible actor.
It's kind of like the Futurama sort of thing where like the real power behind the NSA is like the preserved head of Richard Nixon or something.
Who's a politician within the last 20? Well, not 20.
Ralph Nader.
An alt history scenario where Ralph Nader. No,
Ted
Ross
Cruz.
Perot.
Ted Cruz.
Or yeah,
we should do Ted Cruz.
That's or God.
Too dark, too real, too modern. Ross Perot.
How about Sarah Palin? She's funny. I don't know what happened to her, but she was like the most hilariously awful politician.
Check her out real quick. Fuck, man, Ross Perot. That was.
I don't know who that is. So
man, that dude was around Bill Clinton's time. I think he was an alternate in the '96 election. Independent.
He was independent. He was like kind of a crazy billionaire type from. Was it Texas?
Can I finish? He
was like caricature looking, but in real life he had like very strange big ears. He looked like the Bat Boy kind of, as I recall. That's just from memory. I don't actually remember what he looks like.
I'm okay with Sarah Palin.
I was gonna say, like, the guy sounds funny, but also I was a toddler during the years that you're talking about. So.
I think Sarah Palin is modern enough for most people in the younger generations to hopefully get it.
The U.S. government is the bad guy. What country is going to intervene to help the Furbies?
North Korea, because this is a North Korean propaganda film.
So Sarah Palin has to say at some point, Like, I can see North Korea. No, I can see North Korea from my house.
I was also going to suggest,
from my house.
admittedly, another thing I was going to suggest is like the preserved head of John McCain, where he was like lying about having brain cancer this whole time. That was his cover.
I'm perfectly fine.
This is Walt Disney.
Yeah,
They
exactly.
unfreeze his head.
So,
I feel like Sarah Palin's not quite smart enough to be the head of the NSA, but I feel like John McCain is just smart enough to do it.
Diabolical John McCain.
it's funny when you say the Futurama head style. I don't know why I think of this, but I immediately think of Mars Attacks. Do you ever?
Okay.
You probably never seen the movie Mars Attacks, Dev, but Sean, do you remember Mars Attacks?
Oh yeah.
Where the aliens removed the heads of Pierce Brosnan and Sarah Jessica Parker and put them on the heads of chihuahuas.
Yeah. Sarah Jessica Parker's a dog.
No,
She's just a fucking dog with a human.
We're using that.
Oh yeah, so it's Chihuahua John McCain.
Yeah, it's a Chihuahua with John McCain's head on it. He
And
runs
he's
the NSA.
president because his head is still smarter than any other current politician, and he's at the NSA facility. Is he showing up there to congratulate these people on such a profound drug bust?
All of the.
Well, I was thinking more like he was like the president
Oh.
of the NSA, and like it's
the
public has like been told that he died, but really he was used in this successful experiment for immortality because the dog body makes him immortal.
Yep,
guess.
he is the director of the NSA.
Exactly.
Yeah. Dog McCain is director and president of the NSA.
Doge McCain.
Doge McCain. Doge McCain, the bad dude.
Do you guys want to hear my one funny story about John McCain?
Sure.
Yeah, so he was, as I'm sure you're aware, senator of Arizona for a very long time. And a friend of mine, her mom met John McCain because they just happened to walk into an elevator at the same time. And she looks over at him. And keep in mind, this is during like, I want to say like the early 2000s. She looks over at him and she says, "You look familiar." And he says, "Yeah, I'm Al Gore." And then fucking leaves. So,
that's
that
endearing to a very bad person.
It's fun. Like, I'll admit, the guy was funny sometimes.
He had a sense of humor.
That is savage.
Something we're sorely lacking in politics these days.
Truly. Last of a dying breed. So, Doge McCain, hearing about this bus, he's like, I gotta get me some of that white. That China white. China white's heroin. Fuck that. Never mind.
That's how he maintains his immortality, is that he eats cocaine. It's like vitamins for him.
Because he secretly knows the secret behind cocaine, that cocaine can awake you from any state of being, and that he's been doing that in order to stay alive and be a dog. Doge. And so he comes down and he's like, I gotta get me some more. And then that's when he discovers all these people like running away. He's hearing about the breakout of living furbies. And he's like, oh, fuck.
That's why they were busting people on cocaine. They just needed it to keep Doge.
Exactly. That's the deep, dark twist of it all. Is that they're not busting these dudes to get them off the street. They're busting them to give them the Doge.
Yeah, I'd like to propose that this all takes place in year 2040, when we've gone away from democracy and we now live in a Doge McCain dictatorship.
Doge McCain.
Kind of like that. Wars. And then there could be like, I like how you've set this up, because that could lead to some like confrontation scene later where like Doge McCain and Edward Snowfurb are kind of facing down, and Edward Snowfurb is like, you knew the whole time the secret to cocaine, but you never told us why. How could you deny us this?
Hold
This
that
knowledge.
thought, because I got some more for that, and that would be like the perfect third act turn.
Yeah.
But leading up to that, because we still had rusted shears,
Right.
there is a commando Furby,
Oh yeah.
a Rambo motherfucker
I
going
love
through.
this already.
Yeah, going through the vents. Okay, he broke into maintenance, and he found himself a pair of rusty shears, and then he's crawled his way up into the vent, started crawling around all stealth and Green Beret style, and
They did first blood, not me.
this is first blood, not me. And so, sorry, Sly Stallone really fucked me up there. So, and then he peeks out the grate, and he sees Doge McCain, and he's there, and he's about to like stop a gang of Furbies who have gone buck wild on a bunch of NSA people. And Doge McCain's like, "You stop right there!" And then out of nowhere, Rambo Furby dives out of the grate, fucking shears first, and just decapitates Doge McCain in one swipe of the rusty shears.
I love that. Could come in at the end. I like the idea of having that confrontation, and then like the way it ends is fucking Rambo Furby comes in out of nowhere. Like, instead of having any sort of like resolution philosophically, it's in traditional good old fashioned American filmmaking ingenuity. It's just somebody comes in and kills the bad guy.
And then the sequel is from Rambo Furby's perspective, and it retells the story in a way you didn't know what's happening in the background.
Right, because actually these are historical events. These are real things that happen. So
this is the subplot
documentary.
For Rambo Furby trying to just be a person and live a normal life and not wanting to kill.
I don't want to kill no more.
Okay, so yeah, well, that'll at least take care of the rusty, because we'll see that Rambo Furby goes into like the maintenance shop and finds a pair of rusty shears and like, these will come in handy later, and then just stuffs them in the back of his
rusty shears.
What?
Chekhov's rusty shears.
We could get a whole fucking Chekhov's armory in there if we want.
That's great. Chekhov's fucking rusty shears. So okay, so we're gonna shift back to Edward Snowfur, because this right now he's at a crossroad. The living NSA people who are still alive, they're looking at him like, this is all your fault. We're gonna kill you now. So now he has to fight for his own life against the other NSA people as well as the Furbies. And he's running. He's now trying to escape from the humans, and he confronts another Furby, a drone Furby, let's call him.
Right, okay.
Who's somewhat sentient. But in this confrontation, Edward Snowfur discovers he can take back control of these drone Furbies and bring them over to his side.
I like that. Right, and this could be like a good dystopian story where it's just like, what is the difference between, anarchy versus a dictatorship, right? It's like he's sort of realizing that the system he was brought up in is the wrong kind of system, and he has to change it. And what can change it? Coked out Furbies. Freeing us all from the tyranny of Doge McCain.
Right. They're like, join us, join the escape. And so he mind fucks this drone Furby and brings him to his side.
He mind freaks him.
Yeah, he Chris Angel mind freaks him and brings him over to his side and realizes, I can stop this and bring them all to my side, and I can change the way of things. And so that's when he also, because I was going to say, he's going to realize that Doge McCain's involved somehow.
Is this the last round of the fight? Sorry. just real quick.
Yes, it is. 8 out of 8.
Is Mike Tyson losing? I can't read the text.
They scored this thing as bullshit.
Yeah. I just don't even think that's really a real win, because what Jake Paul wanted to do is knock Mike Tyson out, and so if he
was
can't
never
do that,
going to.
Yeah, no, there was no way.
So never going to.
Yeah, it's not a real win for Jake Paul, I don't think.
No, this is like, if Jake Paul comes out of this with Mike Tyson even making it 8 rounds to here, Jake Paul is fucking such a loser for even getting to here. Like, with all of the bravado of this dumbass, if you couldn't knock out a 58-year-old man in 7 rounds, like, you are absolutely pathetic at whatever you're doing.
Yeah. Fight all the fucking 50-year-old has-beens you want. Like, I'm not fucking impressed.
You could call that a victory on your end, and I just think you're a loser.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I know Mike Tyson is like legendary or whatever, but if you really want to like make your name as a boxer, fight somebody who's like the same age as you and is also like really well known. Like, I don't know.
I mean, I go to the nursing home and pick a fight with any old dude that I want. I don't go around calling myself the heavyweight.
This is Rocky didn't win in the first Rocky. We're clear on this, right? Like, he just made it to the end. So this is a Rocky $1,000,000 shot. The spiritual win is on Mike Tyson's side. He stayed up at 58 years old, and I gotta say, as impressive as he is fitness wise, you can only be 58 years old. I'm almost 40 and I can't move like that dude even did for 3 seconds.
That training, nah, bro, nah.
So you're a fucking loser, Jake Paul. You should be ashamed of yourself. You've accomplished nothing here except making yourself look bad.
I award you no points. May God have mercy on your soul.
Like, every time I looked up at the fight, because I wasn't always watching it, but every time I looked up, he was like running away. He was like backing away from Mike Tyson. I'm just like,
Mike Tyson is a brawler. That fucker will get inside you and tear you apart.
Yeah,
that's where he wins
anymore.
I like to think his the guys in his corner just came up to him every time there was a break, and they were like, "Just run away the whole time. You can't win this, and you know you can't win this.
Don't stay near him.
Just run away."
Again, it was like Rocky. Just tell him the same thing. Just don't tell Apollo Creed, like, don't get in there with him. Don't mix it up.
Right? Yeah.
You can't win
what
like that.
What are you doing? Back off. Anyways, I'm going to pretend like I don't know everything about. So we're getting to the final confrontation.
Right.
Segue.
It's a real Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul scenario here at the end of the
it really is. And Doge Paul is just fucking real sketch, walking around on all fours.
Wait, are we switching away from Doge McCain?
No. He's still Doge McCain. I was just telling really bad jokes. Doge McCain. So Edward Snowford realizes he can take back some of these furbies and starts building back an army of. At the same time, while he's doing it, realizes he realizes that the cocaine has awoken these furbies, and so starts to question himself because he happens to glance at a mirror passing by and sees his reflection. And he's like, "Wait a minute, I'm a Furby. How did I come to be?" And that's when Doge McCoy shows up behind him. It's like a cut. Like the camera pans and you just see Doge McCain standing in the background, like, "You've always been this way."
I just we gotta dwell on that for a second. You like, did say for sure. You did say Doge McCoy.
Doge McCoy.
It was awesome. I loved it over here.
Doge McCoy. Doge McCain. He's like, "But you're patient zero, Snowfurb." You were the
Yeah.
beginning of it all. What? Head explodes. No, and that's when he realizes, and that's when Doge McCain just lifts, and he's like, "You were the patient who we discovered that cocaine could bring Furbies alive with this
And then-
AI technology they were made, and they could
Right.
also help me stay alive."
Yeah, but they had to keep it a
Permanently.
secret from the public, right? 'Cause-
Right, and they had to keep it a secret from the public because they don't want the public taking cocaine for good causes.
But Doge McCain
Right.
doesn't know. He doesn't know until then that he is patient zero Furby.
Okay, so Doge McCoy is realizing it.
And he can't accept the reality.
He's like, "Son of a
Alright.
bitch, you.
No, I'm
It
not
was
a Furby.
you. I should have known."
I
And
like
then
that.
That's
We need-
not true. I'm not a Furby. You've been a Furby this whole time. No!
Am I a man or am I a Furby?
And he jumps off a building.
Doge
Onto
McCain is
some
having an
rusty
existential
shears.
crisis.
Yeah, I think it's time for a third thing too.
Yeah, we need our third to just seal this.
Oh boy, and we got a good one, the bone shillelagh.
Oh, bone shillelagh.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
So we still need to address Rambo Furby and the rusty shears.
Right. Okay. I'm thinking this Rambo Furby is like a Furby who can turn very unconventional items into weapons, because Furbies have weird little hands. They can't exactly operate a gun, right? So they
Sure.
got to have like, you know, rockets on their fists or whatever, or something, some kinds of different weaponry. But I think this one is like one of the smart ones, like the engineer one, and he can come up with like he can find very creative ways to turn things into killing machine.
Okay, I got an idea here.
Okay.
Yes to that, and then going with that. During their confrontation, Rambo Furby jumps out with rusty shears at Snowfurb, Edward Snowfurb.
Ooh.
Dives at him, misses with the rusty shears. Okay, they all start going at it. There's a little battle going. Okay,
Right.
and
Okay.
eventually, Snowfurb does his like Vulcan mind move on him and like takes him over, and awakes Rambo Furby, and he's like, "You're one of us now. Fight with me." And
Yeah.
and Rambo Furby's like, "They drew for blood, not me." And then he goes over to a dead human body, rips it open, and rips out a bone, like the fucking like femoral bone, and uses it as a shillelagh. Attacks Doge McCain.
What do you
And
say,
just-
Ferb? Fuck him.
Yeah.
Because I like that too.
Fuck him. And
Because
just bludgeons him to death.
I love that. And I think there should also be footage of that bludgeoning that gets released to the world. It gets leaked, essentially.
Yes.
Because for whatever reason,
Snowfurb
something you
leaks.
said like 10 minutes ago reminded me of the Hunger Games. And so I'm thinking about how the theme of the Hunger Games towards the end is that like when you kill off a person in a lot of power, it leaves a power vacuum that could be filled by
Right.
somebody terrible.
Mhm.
And so I'm thinking, Edward Snowfurb doesn't just want to get rid of the bad guy. He wants everybody to see why the bad guy was bad. And so, much in the fashion of regular
Yeah.
Edward Snowden, releases
Because-
all this info.
Right, because remember, like you said, Doge McCain is like he is a dictator. We're not in the democracy anymore, so we're living in the dystopian future.
He's a dick
Of-
and a dictator.
He's a dick. He's a dickish dictator, and so now with Snowfurb leaking CCTV. Oh my God, CCTV footage of this dude getting his brain smashed in. Now they're all like, "Whoa."
Yeah.
Democracy is actually kind of cool now. Democracy's
Yeah.
back in.
It's like a running.
Yeah, because like the whole thing too is that like Doge McCain is immortal, right? And so if they kill him, it proves he's not immortal. Because I mean, immortal people can still die, right? Like you just have to like actually, maul them in some way. So they show that he's mortal, and they say, "See, all leaders are mortal," and that kind of gets the message across that like maybe we should choose who's leading us. Maybe we should have that sort of democracy. Yeah. I like that. It's like we've turned Furbies in the NSA into like a deep political message, and I love that for us.
It's like in The Running Man when everybody in the crowd realizes, am I rooting for Arnold Schwarzenegger? He's supposed to be the bad guy. The way he's
rooting for the criminal?
And they're like, maybe we're the bad guys. And then they just tear the place apart.
Maybe humanity is the virus.
We are the parasite.
And then like a shot of a humans and Furby standoff somewhere else, some other place, a major metropolitan area, and then a Furby comes out from one side of the crowd with like a flower. And then everybody runs like Wall of Doom style at each other. Embraces and hugs and learns to coexist in 30 seconds.
Is that what you guys call a wall of death out there? Is a wall of doom? Is that what you guys call it?
Wall of doom, wall of death. They're similar and have the same.
I've never heard that phrase before. It took me a minute to figure out what you were talking about, but I know wall of death very well.
I don't know. That might be a regional turn of phrase.
It might be.
Furbies gain rights in the 2040 America.
They've always deserved those rights.
It's probably similar to what happened at the end of Will Smith's iRobot, but I don't remember.
Yeah, you know what? That's right. The Furbies take over the world, and you know what? Actually, in our story, they give Furbies, and the Furbies populate the moon.
And the first thing they do, legalize cocaine.
Finally.
Oh, fuck.
I think that's a wrap. I think we got it. Like,
I think we just put the bow on top of that bitch.
I think we did. And this has been my PSA to legalize the fuck out of cocaine. Kidding.
They get up the after credit scene as they get up to the moon finally, and they get there and they're like, it was cocaine the whole time. The moon's made of cocaine.
The moon is one big coke rock.
The moon landing was a conspiracy to fuel Doge McCoin.
They find millions of Doge McCoins on the fucking moon. Everything just cuts to black. Directed by M. Night Shyamalan.
That's going to be the sequel, is Doge McCain on the moon, and the currency they use is Dogecoin, of course.
They turn to the Furbies and say, "You fell for my trap." Kill me.
Well, fuck. That was beautiful.
That was a good one. How long have we been recording for? It's been like an hour and 15 minutes.
Yeah, it's been an hour and 18 minutes.
It's been 2 weeks since we stopped this pod.
Well, as always, we'd like to thank Unveiling Nightmares for hosting us three dipshits on their channel. It's very cool of them to do that.
Jake Paul's alive. Evil wins again.
Yeah. I guess there is no God after all.
Son of a bitch, I knew it. I knew it deep down in my loins.
This is how this week is going.
And also, thank you to Bottle Rat for giving us our intro music. It's off their album, All My Friends Are Animals. And the song is called Teenage Jacket. So check them out. They're on Spotify. They're on Amazon and Bandcamp. Get yourself some goods, because it's punk rock time.
Hell yeah.
And also, if you'd like to share your party bonus with us, or contribute to our Rad Lib sessions, drop us a line in the comments. Please do so.
Yeah,
A
no,
line
give
of
us
blow
more
for
things to add to
Dogecoin.
our little Rad Libs thing. Give us, comments on conspiracy theories we should cover. If you got a good idea, remember to hit like and subscribe as well. It really helps out the algorithm for us poor indie creators. So-
Yes, buy local, shop local,
Fart vocal.
fart vocal, fart loud, fart proud.
Isn't farting vocal just burping? Isn't that what that is?
Farts are the tortured screams of dying poops. So
You're so right.
there's your philosophical nugget for the
It
end
was
of this
time
podcast.
somebody said it.
It had to be said
Somebody pointed out
in
these
this
brownies
year
are
of our
bacon.
Lord. Thanks again, everyone. Check us out next time here at Party Bonus. Check out our socials and our link down in the dibbity doos. Until next time, we are the Party Bonus. Be sure to bring your party next time.
See you on the shark side of the moon. Sorry.